Hello everybody and welcome back to the building of this vintage Mercury Matador. I'm about to start building the wings. A couple of things here. I've learned from building the tail surface, a horizontal stab, in that I've actually allowed a little bit of extra on the length. See if we can focus this. On the length of the ribs, you can see just a little smidgen, and that's so that I can set it into the trailing edge, because I just think it's a weak joint, just a butt joint for the wing structure. So the wings have all been cut out and notched, ready. Another modification that I made, if we turn our attention to the map, to the plan now, it's very difficult to see due to the glare. Wait a moment. These two ribs here, this one and this one, it's shown on the plan as only being planked or sheeted in 16th on the very front portion, and I'm going to extend that all the way down, because when you're putting bands onto the wings, you always end up nipping into the covering here if you don't do that. So I'm going to cover from here to here, and I've modified the ribs accordingly. So what I'm going to do now basically is get it all pinned down, do a dry fit, and then once I'm happy with that, we'll apply some glue. The other thing that I've done is I've added the dihedral braces to the spars, to the bottom two spars anyway. They're also on the top two spars and also the trailing edge. They're pretty flimsy affairs, but there's going to be in total 5 of them, so I'm sure that'll provide more than enough strength for this wing. So let's get it set up, perhaps do that as a time lapse, and then once it's all set up, we'll actually start the gluing process. Well, there you go, set up. The trailing edge needs a few fine adjustments, notching these out so that it fits in. One thing I forgot to actually add, I wasn't happy with the consistency of the strip that was supplied in the kit. Some of it was hard, some of it was very soft. And what you don't want when you're building a wing is massive variation in the quality of the strip. So what I did is I took out a sheet and I stripped out all of the material I needed to complete this job using a very simple device, balsa stripper here. Cost a few pound, invaluable tool if you're doing any kit building or scratch building, because sometimes in the kits you have to replace the material that's there. That won't go to waste, it'll go into other projects, but when you want consistency in the build, I think it's important that all the strip is the same quality, and because it's from the same sheet, it's going to be that, unless you have a really odd sheet, you sometimes get them. But I'll clean these up, and then we'll get this glued in, trailing edge and all the CA applied to these joints, and then we'll set in the top spars and the leading edge. That's all glued down now. I think I'll put the leading edge on next, and then the top spars along with their braces. And as I did in the tail area, I will be adding some additional gussets in to give a bit of strength on what I think's a weak point. We'll press on. That weather's horrendous outside, definitely building weather. Let's press on. Another word on strip selection. out of the 3/16 that I have for the leading edge, I've selected the hardest wood for the leading edge. The lighter material I still need to make the thin. Keep the weight down at the back where it needs to be light and put the strength where it needs to be. So you always have to be careful when you're selecting the wood that you're going to use, whether it's kit built or a scratch build. So let's push on and get this done. There we have it, that's one panel done. I've got it ready to do the next panel. The end tips need to be added on, although the wood provided in the kit isn't quite thick enough, so I'll add another layer onto that. Dihedral braces are all in place. I'll crack on, get this built, and then we'll look at the whole thing together before I sand it down. Well, thanks to some horrendous weather and a cat that got us up at 3:30 in the morning, that's a set of wings completed now on the Mercury Matador. They're obviously in a rough state, nothing's been sanded or cleaned up, but they're now finished. There's only the fin to make, and then I need to start considering the radio installation and how I'm going to control the surfaces. So thanks for looking in. If you've enjoyed this little stint, please give it a thumbs up and stay tuned by subscribing if you haven't already done so. Bye for now.